the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching another episode of Every Which Way. This time featuring Khymberlee Carlyle of Lipstick Radio. And Khymberlee is new to me, and I just sort of impulsively asked her to come on the show because I was immediately drawn into her energy and her message. I think she is a very empowering presence as a woman, as a businesswoman. I love that she supports independent artists with her radio show, and that she's all about the motivation and the positivity, and she's got her own special brand of magic that I think you all are really going to enjoy. So here she is, Khymberlee Carlyle of Lipstick Radio. Hi, Khymberlee. Welcome to Every Which Way.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes, I've never done this before, by the way. I just bumped into you on Twitter, and we had no contact ever, and we were kind of bonding over this Gary Vaynerchuk post.
Yeah.
And I went and
I love so.
I know, me too. I went and stalked you a little bit, and I was reading through your About page, and I wasn't even all the way through it, and I just sort of impulsively was like, I need to have her on the show. So I'm excited to learn.
And it was the same. I looked at your page, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
I know, we were writing each other at the same time, like, hey, I really like what you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
The power of social media.
It's very powerful. I've met some wonderful people on it, I tell you.
Yeah.
And, of course, you've got the crazies, but, we can weed those out pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's easy to do. Can you tell us, you are the creatrix behind Lipstick Radio, and it's kind of turned into a whole, almost like a network, because you've got different channels or different shows that you do.
It has. I started it back in, I believe it was 2007. And it was just a podcast. So it was just me. Then I brought on a girlfriend. And so we would just have those crazy talks, I don't know, girl locker room talk.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we all talk about, oh, well, what happened on this date, or guys always this, or whatever. So it ended up, it was fun. It was fun. We would do 5 shows a week. And then just within a few months, it grew to, I was getting about 30,000 downloads a week. So it became pretty popular, and it was just a podcast. The only thing we would get is people saying, hey, can you make it longer? Can you, I like listening to it at work, make it longer than 20 minutes. And I was like, well, I was told back then, well, you don't want to make it too long because you don't want to bore people. Everybody was still trying to figure social media out and that whole thing. So, but just this past April, I got with Party 93.4 in it's 94.9 FM in New York. And so now I broadcast live there, but I'm here in Los Angeles.
How weird.
And I'm there every Monday. I've taken 2 weeks off, so I'm back this Monday, but I needed a break. But the whole, I finally basically just found a way to combine 2 things that I love. I've been in entertainment for many years. I'm a professional dancer. I produce shows, but I still have my love of music. And then I also have my other love is helping people. Mm-hmm. So I was able to marry the 2. So that's kind of what I use Lipstick Radio for, is giving the independent artist, a platform and a voice to shine and things of that sort. So, and I really try to encourage people to understand that the power of networking is very strong. And, don't let your ego get in the way, because your ego will make you miss out on so many blessings. And, there's a lot of other radio shows. There's a lot of people that do what I do, but you know what? I partner with them. I partnered with the Good Time Show. They're so sweet. They're based out of, I think it's Arizona, but they broadcast in Denver, Vegas, and Boston. So, the more I can spread my network, then the more that the artists get to spread too. So that's how we look at it. We don't, there's some people that are not so open, and that's fine. But for those of us that are, we have created this indie artist movement, and that's what it's about. It's about helping one another and sticking together.
Yeah, that really appealed to me, by the way. Both, I just like a go-getter, especially a go-getter woman. I really resonate with that. And back, can't even remember, it might have been 2006, I produced a CD of the 10 best, so-called best, indie singer-songwriter women in
wonderful.
LA. But I just found, and I was selling stuff from other indie artists, like, you know, craftspeople and stuff like that. And I just found selling things and having a store wasn't my actual forte, but I love supporting, love supporting people that are going for it. And they're not just like mindlessly doing what they're told and going through the motions, but they're actually taking action and laying it on the line to create the life of their dreams. So you're doing that for yourself and so many other people now.
I'm definitely trying, and I do things without thinking. It's like some people say, oh my gosh, you've done this, you've done that, oh my God. When you're in it, you're just like, oh, yeah, I did, huh? Because you don't think about it. I don't have an ego or something, whatever those people have. I don't have that. I just do. And then when someone comes to me and I know they have a craft or an art and I really like it, I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Here's an idea for you. Oh, let me have you on. Oh, here, let's create this show. And, and that's how I am. I don't say, oh, well, I want a finder's fee or I don't come from that place. And, Lord knows it's not like we can't all use the extra money, but that's just not who I am. I make the money that I need to make, but, for me, I like feeding my spirit, because when you feed your spirit and your passion, to me, then you're living. Because if you're just doing stuff because they're dangling carrots, which is money, in front of you, then that's what I tell these artists. I'm like, make sure you're doing this because you're passionate about it. When you're passionate about things, then money will follow, because you're putting your all, you're giving your best, it has to. But when you're just doing something for money, it shows. And it doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to work out.
Yeah. You said something on your site that really grabbed me, something about if you don't live your passion, you're not living.
Yes, I totally believe that.
That's a good motto to live by.
I do. I mean, I'm from corporate like everyone else, and I'm grateful for my time in corporate. I worked as a paralegal in corporate for many years, actually. But I've been in the entertainment industry since I was 16 years old, so I was blessed enough to be able to bounce in between, because I'm not one of those people that can go work at a job for 5, 10, 15 years. It's like, okay, well, I had kids young, so I had to have a steady paycheck, and then when a project came up that was steady in entertainment, then I'd go do that. I quit, and then I'd go do that. And then when that dried up, I'm like, okay, let me apply for another job. And then, I go make my corporate money. And then I'm like, okay, you guys are getting on my nerve. I'm just here. I quit. And then I go, that's just been my life. And, I used to feel bad about it because, those people that are all into titles and just that whole, I don't know, materialistic, oh, well, I want to be a CEO so I can drive my Mercedes and shop over here. I've never been like that.
Yeah, but you know what, though? You're a nice balance, because you do enjoy, like, those shoes, for example.
Yeah.
And, when I saw your website, I was like, you know what this reminds me of? It's like Sex in the City After Dark, because the colors are like, it's like a black background with like that almost neon purple, and you talk about sex, and you talk about shoes, and you talk about real things, but there's something about you that also has I don't know if you're a spiritual person, you just used the word spirit, and you wrote namaste on your site, so is that a part of you?
I'm very spiritual, very spiritual. I tell people I'm not religious, and some people don't understand that there's a difference. It's like, and just for me, everybody's different, but religion, if people remember when we were kids and we studied, religion was created to control, divide, conquer, and kill people sometimes in order to conquer certain things. So I don't believe that there's any one way to be. That's just me. I believe I take from many different spiritual masters, and one of my favorite things I study is Buddhism. So that's my thing. I love the Buddhist philosophy, but there's many different forms of Buddhism. So and I attend agape when I'm, when
Oh, okay.
I'm able to. So there's so many different beautiful spiritual teachers, and they come from a place of love, and we all believe in God. So, I just don't personally believe that there's just one way to get to God, because obviously if there was, we wouldn't have so many different religions, right?
Yes. I say that. I always say all paths lead to God.
Yeah,
And I know
tell
my
people,
audience specifically, we are a very open-minded, spiritually eclectic bunch of people.
And that's what I like. That's why I was reading your site. I was like, oh, this is cool.
And for people who don't know, Agape is a very eclectic, non-denominational, everybody's welcome, no agenda kind of church here in Los Angeles.
Muslims, we have even Jehovah's Witnesses are in there. I mean, we have some of everyone, because I just think at some point some people finally realize, you know what, I think there's something else. And that seeking spirit just comes out and say, you know what, at the end of the day, it's just about love. So can we just have that? Not to sound like a 70s love child, but I mean, cause I tell my friends all the time, I said, you know what, I don't care which path you choose. That could be, whichever one. As long as we arrive at the same place, it's fine. Everybody has to do what works for them. And being a free spirit and, accepting everyone for who they are, that's just my way. And it works for me. How
did you team up? What are the women's names? I want to get their names right. Angela Artis and Melina Lawrence.
Yeah.
How did you know that they were going to be good on camera and good conversations? Because I listened to some of your conversations, and I was like, all three of these women are just so on point, like super funny, super natural, very relatable, but also completely articulate and strong and, who you are. How did that whole partnership come together?
Wow. Well, Angie and I have known each other the longest. We've been friends for over 20 years. Okay. So we met on, back in the day when I was doing extra work. We met back then on a set of Murder One, I believe. It was like, early day Law and Order, but it was Murder One. But if you really take a good look at Angela, you've seen her on everything, from Ally McBeal to Wayans Brothers to Angie's a wonderful actress and model, and she's also an author and an international author now as well. So she's wonderful, and we always had. I knew I wanted to bring her in because we always have those talks offline. So, and I'm like, and she always brings this other perspective to it, and you're like, and I'm always like, hey, I'm like, you know what, people need to hear how you say this. And then Melina I've known for about probably four or 5 years now, and we met on a production because she's been in production and she does a lot of red carpet interviews and things of that sort. So if you listen to the radio show, you'll hear her entertainment reports in there, where she does that, and then she conducts a lot of the interviews. But then, of course, she always participates with us in the other things too. So, but she's amazing. She works for Tavis Smiley, so she does a lot of production for him. Oh, nice. But she's worked with some of everybody.
Nice. So you're all, that's why you're all so good on camera. And why you don't seem to run out of things to say. It just flows really nicely. It's so enjoyable.
Thank you. It's wonderful to hear. Because sometimes, you're just working, and you're wondering. I'm like, okay, well, I hope that went great. Okay, next, I got to do this. I got to do that. But Happy Hour has been fun. Happy Hour I created, which was basically just like us all getting together, but via video, inviting people on like yourself. So we're going to have you on too. So you just grab a drink and, we have fun, but it's turned into something bigger, which is great. It's turned into like a place where we have the happy hour, but we have comedians that come on. Mm-hmm. So each time, we do that every 2 weeks. So I have a different comedian on. I know, I'm in talks with Sinbad right now, so I'm trying to get him to come through. So, fun. So it's just, it's really cool. It's no pre-planned talk. It's just kind of like if we're at the bar, you don't know what you're going to talk about. It's just like whatever hits you. And it's just fun to have the comedian there because he gets to join in, of course, put his spin on it, and then make it that much funnier.
Yeah. And you guys managed to walk the line, like, it's sexy and it's fun,
A little
But
edgy.
it's not like, it's edgy, but it's not off-putting at all. You don't go too far. You go just far enough, you know?
Right.
I like
Well,
that.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
But
And
you know what? It's funny you brought up Sex in the City earlier because I have had this, even though that's kind of like my alter ego, um, I've had that character. It's kind of like been me forever. So my friends will all tell you, oh, she's just a free spirit. She just says whatever she wants. And so when Sex in the City came out, of course I saw Kim Cattrall. I just, that's like my favorite character. I'm just like, she's like me as far as just saying what she wants. I'm not sleeping with the guys every day or different men. But as far as being out there and not caring what people think, and I just love that character. That was like one of the best. They will never be able to repeat
right.
that.
No, I know.
They've tried and it's failed because that is an original. They will never, never, never be able to create another Sex in the City team ever.
I totally agree. I have been blabbing my mouth off about turning 40 this September to anybody who will listen, and I always buy myself presents on my birthday, but I've known since I turned 38 that was going to be my present for turning 40 was the Sex and the City box set, specifically because of Samantha, because the girl's got, like, power, you know?
Yeah, power woman with her business, with her men, it's great. My daughter just got me the box set 2 Christmases ago.
Oh, cool.
So, and I just watched it again, actually just finished it again for the 20th time just last week. And so I'll wait another week and then I'll play it again. I mean, because honestly, things on TV right now, it's just not worth it. So, yeah, I watch Sex and the City. It's a feel-good thing. It's funny. It makes you think. Each time I catch something that I missed the last time. It's weird, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
great
fun
thing.
stuff.
And I'm looking forward to her shoes because, she's coming out with her own line of shoes.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. So you have a shoe thing.
I do, and I haven't been into it as much lately because I've just been so busy in the last few years and then a divorce, so that slowed me down a little bit. But Angela has picked up the slack because she has probably over 200 shoes in her closet right now. Oh, my word.
And she does the shoe show. What is that called?
Yeah.
Shoe Lover. That's Angela's show.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to give a plug to her book, by the way? I felt weird that we mentioned it and didn't tell people.
Yeah, you know what? She has a new one called The Block.
The Block?
Yes, The Block.
Is that fiction?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fiction. She has a few. It's best just to go to her website. It's Angela Artist. And I have to spell it because some people think it's artist. Right. I'm like, no, it's ARDIS.
Perfect.
So go to her website and you'll see all of her books. She did the Inside a Thug's Heart years ago. It was about Tupac. So she did the whole morning circuit on CNN and the Today Show and all of that. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of layers to her. Plus she's a screenwriter too. So yeah, hit her up. She's very talented.
You are some dynamic, interesting women. Did you start Lipstick Radio alone back when you said you were doing 5 days a week?
Yes.
That was just you?
It was just me for probably the first month. And then I met a girl named DeVoe. And you would love DeVoe too. So if you listen to some of the earlier things, like if you go to if you go to my website and you click on the iTunes subscribe button, it'll open up a page and you'll see like over 160 shows there.
Oh my goodness.
So if you look at some of the earlier shows, then DeVoe is on there and she was great too. So I pulled her in because I loved her energy. We just had a lot of fun. So, it just worked out really good. And then we took a little hiatus and some things changed in her life. So it was kind of down for a minute, but I didn't want to let it go because my spirit was just calling. I didn't know it would turn into the direction of the independent artist, but, I'm thinking, well, you can do more than one thing, with the show. So it just kind of stands for fun and togetherness and just having a good time, but also highlighting talent as well.
Yeah, it evolved naturally. He's been he or she has been in the background cleaning himself or like taking a shower.
That's Kat. I named her Kat, Katt, because my other favorite movie is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, perfect. You know what? That is so interesting, and I hope I'm not getting into dangerous territory here. But something that I was thinking when I was watching, I can't remember what video it was of you, but it was all three of you talking together, was like how the media does not give us very many women of color, role models, movie stars, TV shows, things like that everybody can relate to and be like, oh, I'm just like those women. And then here you are saying Sex and the City is my favorite, Breakfast and Tiffany's is my favorite. And those are all like white girls. And and then I'm thinking the same thing about your show. Like, this is so great because it's showing like these gorgeous, beautiful women who are so smart and on the ball, and we can all relate to them. And it's putting a really beautiful face on women of color for all of us, for, you know, us white girls too. Like, it's just so relatable and wonderful.
Because, you know what, I hope that we get this across, which I think we have, going by what you're saying, is that when we came together, it was just happenstance. It wasn't like, oh, she's black, she's black, she's black.
Yeah.
So come on. I just see talent. That's all I see. I don't see color. So if I had met you before all of that, I'd been like, hey, come on in. You know, I don't see color.
Yeah.
And I just want people to stop seeing that, because we've worked so hard. I'm not saying I would abandon my heritage. Absolutely not. But at the same token, we've worked so hard and so many people have died for us to desegregate. And then I see us starting to segregate again. And I'm like, what is that about? Like, stop it.
Yeah.
But we were,
well, I guess
the segment you were watching, we were talking about that, because I get irritated with, I understand where we came from. I get slavery. I get all that stuff, because, you know, we responded years ago to that President Fox in Mexico, who was saying that, oh, we take the jobs that black people don't want. And I'm like, well, apparently you haven't done your history, honey, because we were the maids and the mammies and all that stuff back then. So we have been there. So it's not that we don't want it. We've evolved, and now we have certain type of lifestyles that doesn't let me take a $5 an hour job or something like that. So it's not that we don't want it, because I can tell you, when I moved to Orange County, I lived in Laguna Niguel. And let me tell you, people were like, what in the hell is she doing here?
Oh, wow.
They totally, it was so racist. It did not make me move. I loved it. I could afford to be there, and I was not moving one bit. And you know what? If you're ignorant and you want to be that way, then you're not the person I want to socialize with anyway. So it's okay. I never responded with anger. It was just like, okay, well, I just feel sorry for you. Yeah. I'll pray for you. How about that? But, you know, it's just really, really sad that we have to have all of that. These shows, the reason I was bringing that up is because we have these shows. We're intelligent, we're smart, we have regular lives that we all can relate to, which is why I like Sex and the City, because I can relate to every single one of them. So I didn't see color with that. But yet, every time we're nominated for something Oscar-wise, then it's The Help. It's always something that puts us back in the plantation type thing, and that just irritates me. So I don't patronize movies like that. Like this Butler thing that Oprah did, I'm so irritated with her for doing that.
Okay,
I'm not
I get that.
Gonna go see that. I mean, we've progressed past that. How many times do we have to relive this? It's like, it's in our history. We still teach it to our kids so they can be proud of where they came from. But let's put in their minds we can do a Mission Impossible. I can do a Born Identity. We can do Assault.
Definitely.
How come we can't do that without it always going south? Either slavery type, or we're servants, or we're gangsters and drug dealers, or it's the guys chasing booty all the time. Like, you know, can we just get out of that?
Yeah, the cliches. So, I guess, you know, I'm... too, just that I shouldn't be seeing your show and being like, well, this is amazing. 3 awesome women of color, like, that are inspiring and beautiful, and just being real, and, you know, not portraying a bunch of stereotypes. That shouldn't mean anything to me. That should just be par for the course. And I
Yeah, and
think,
that's how it was. You saw it, you liked it, you reached out to me, I liked you. I
yeah,
didn't say, oh, she's white. Well, no, who cares?
yeah,
So that's the way it should be.
yeah.
But I just can't patronize that stuff. So I hope people understand. I have friends that we debate about this all the time. But I mean, just for me, maybe after we put out some better movies and then you come 10 years later with that, maybe I'll be more open to it. But when you just do that after another, we just had The Help not too long ago and I was irritated by that. So now we've got The Butler. Isn't The Butler part of Help? So do we need some more help?
Well, I haven't seen The Butler, so I can't comment on that. But I will say that Dr. Doolittle is on regular rotation here at my house, and it is nothing to do with anything but modern, happy, healthy family time.
Yes. And that's what we love.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that. I didn't know if I was getting on like shaky ground, but I'm very curious about that. That was something that interested me as well.
No, absolutely not. I just see talent. I mean, just like when people submit music for Lipstick Radio, I don't stop and say, well, hey, what are they? I've got people submitting things from overseas and it's great. So, I just see talent. If it sounds good, if it has a good beat it's not, well, I make people send clean music anyway, so it won't be vulgar. It won't get played if it's cursing in it. You have to send me your clean versions, but.
Do you have a genre that you're specifically interested in?
No, not really, because I'm open.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have, sometimes I have like throwback 80s, because, I mean, truth be told, the 80s and 90s was the best music. They will never be able to do that, because, think about a lot of the music, all they do is sample stuff from back in the day. So how people, when you break down the science of it, when you're rapping over a beat that is, that was a hit back in the day, people are really bouncing their heads and getting into it because they're reminiscing what was going on back then. They're not really listening to what you're saying. You're just bringing that happy time back to them. So, hello, Kat.
Yeah, she wants to be on TV.
So,
YouTube,
yeah, and she wants to get my
am.
lap. I'm like, no, get on my lap. But, so I love all types of music. I grew up in music. I grew up playing 3 instruments. So I have a big collection. I mean, from classical to Frank Sinatra to Latin jazz to bachata. I mean, it
well, as a dancer too. I mean,
yeah. So I guess that's probably why I'm just so free and so open and accepting, because there's great things in everything. I mean, let me tell you, there's some great country songs that I used to be in the mirror thinking I could sing, because I love the way that the country songs are able to tell these stories in a way that I don't think a lot of other songs can do. And then especially they get the right guitar or certain things behind it. It makes it sad. You're like, that's a good song, but oh my God. But I used to go with my girlfriend Leah. She bought me boots and a hat, and we went to Cowboy Boogie all the time in Anaheim, and I would line dance. So, I mean, I'm so open. It's not even funny.
Oh, so
and
fun.
I think that's why, you enjoy life when you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my next plan is, okay, I've been here, I'm an American, that's great, but now I'm getting ready for my second part of my life, and I'm trying to move overseas. So I want to experience other cultures and things of that sort. France, Italy, New Zealand, just you name it. That's what I want to do. So I just think it's fun.
Nice.
It's fun.
And you're starting to do a business on the internet too, so you'll be able to take that with you wherever
Absolutely.
you go. Do you want to tell people? Well, I have 2 things. I didn't want to interrupt you, but for anybody watching this, how can they send their music to you? And then the second part of that is I just want to know what this new venture is that you're getting into.
Well, they can go to my website, and that's lipstick-radio.com, and there's a big button that says submissions. So you just go there and fill it out and upload your music, and I'll get it.
Perfect.
And then it goes to our A&R person who reviews the music, and then she'll listen and make sure there's no cuss words coming through. If it is, you'll get an email from her, and she'll say, you need to redo it. But the other thing, it's not really new. I've been teaching social media skills for a while, but I Listic Radio just got so busy, which is great. I just let it take a back seat. So I don't even think I've been on my Twitter for that since 2011. So,
oh, wow.
Because I've been on Listic Radio all this time. So, but yeah, I do online classes now. It'll be held through Google Hangouts. So it seats up to 10 people at a time. So you can do it from the comfort of your own home or your car, wherever you are. So you don't have to worry about driving across town to get to a meeting. And I teach everything from basic to advanced things about social media. And I actually just got off the phone earlier, and I will be teaching for SCORE, anybody who knows what SCORE is, through the Small Business Association. And I'll be teaching for them probably within the next month. I'll be doing their Facebook courses.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
So if somebody wants to participate in that, what do they do? How do they approach
What they do is hit me up on Twitter. That's Jean Kim Media. That's JeanKim Media, MEDIA. And just tag me on Twitter. It's the same thing for the website. It's down right now because I'm doing my final little touches on it, but it should be up by the weekend because I just had to take it down and update some stuff.
Oh,
but
perfect.
That's how they can do it. I'm doing a special introductory offer because I've noticed that some of the people that do teach there and other people, they're not teaching near as many things as I really give you like stuff you could use. I don't do the upselling like, oh yeah, well, if you want to learn more, sign up for my next class. I don't do that. So you get a lot in this 1 hour. So I'm doing a little thing that's only $25, which is cheap.
Yes.
Because typically, I actually just got a notice, because I keep up with the latest stuff. I've been a computer geek since I was 15.
Nice.
So I've been certified by Microsoft, so I teach classes, but I volunteer. I tell people, I want to say this, always volunteer, always give back in whatever way you can. But I personally work a lot with the homeless, so I do a lot of teaching up at PATH. That stands for People Assisting the Homeless. So I teach a lot of their customer service classes and their computer classes. I teach people how to use Word and Excel and stuff like that in my spare time, as if I have any.
No, you have definitely, when I first saw you, I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk to her. And then, like, as I was, like, signing in just now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't do enough homework. I don't know, like, what are we going to talk about? Because it was just pure, like, an enthusiasm thing about your energy. But you really, like, live up to that first impression. You have so much going on, and it's exciting. You are a person living the kick-ass life of your dreams.
I am definitely going for it. That's for sure. I just refuse. I accept who I am instead of beating myself up about it. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, when you get in a certain circle of people, meaning corporate, and depending, and I'm not saying every corporate person's that way, but you know what I mean. The people care about titles and kissing butts so that they can move up, and that's never been me. So I just care about being happy, and I feel like being forced to be in that type of environment, knowing that that's not where my spirit and my heart is, you're just hurting yourself. So, and I'm not saying, of course, we need money to survive, but, you know, it's like, yeah, but sometimes you can, if you really trust yourself and believe in yourself and just go out on a limb, sometimes take that risk, something that you've been blessed as a gift, you know, to do, you can probably make money from it. Maybe not as much as a full-time job, but who knows where it can go. At least start it. So then that way, because, you know, we go to work and we're tired and, you know, you don't even want to see a computer when you get home. You just go to bed and you're like, whatever. And then you're up the next day doing it and you're just looking forward to the weekend. That's how it was for me.
The treadmill.
Yeah, and it's like the rat race. And I tell you, when I'm walking in the mornings and I see the traffic and I see the freeway, I just thank you, God, that I don't have to go through that anymore, you know, because it's not me. I would totally die if I had to do that.
You know, I like to wrap these up by asking people what their one kick-ass or what their one tip is for creating the kick-ass life of their dreams is, but you really just answered my question. Is there anything you want to add for, like, somebody who's maybe they're in the corporate world or they're just in a 9-to-5 job that doesn't really turn them on? What's, like, one tip for, like, just a beginner step that they could take?
Go for it. You have to go for it. write it down. I just introduced my girlfriend. She's starting a clothing line and a nonprofit for girls. So I've been telling her this whole time. So today I finally made her first appointment, and I would tell everybody that, you know what, write down what it is you want to do, and go on SCORE. It's, spell SCORE, LA.org, and search for a mentor that's in the line of business of what you want to create, and just make an appointment. It's free. And they can just guide you and say, hey, you know what? Because these are professionals that's done what you want to do for years. So it's like having access to Oprah,
Nice.
but it's the Oprah of your field, So you go on there, you make an appointment, and you sit down with them, and they'll tell you straight out, okay, well, this is how you do this. This is what you should get together, I mean, everything. So I say go for it. Believe in yourself first. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. Write it down. Make that appointment. It's free. So you can't. I mean, what else can you ask for? It's free.
Perfect. Love it.
Just do it. Be like Nike and just do it.
Just do it. The kick-ass tip.
That's
from
right.
Lipstick Radios, Khymberlee Carlyle.
Yay!
Thank you so much for doing this today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. You're so beautiful, and I love your spirit, and you're here in LA, so we're going to meet up for sushi.
Definitely. Cool. Yay. Thank you, Khymberlee. Much love.
Absolutely.